Speed a lot, fast. It's like walking barefoot over broken glass.
He
like
goes.
jumping rope on a laser blade.
That's what he says.
Blade, all lightning quick. Decisions are made.
That's what he says.
Lifetime female. This high-profile personality who makes his way. Illegally, you don't want to be.
Next on News 4 Tucson Live at 10, devastating fires across the Golden State tonight. 10 deaths, 1,500 families forced from their homes.
And a severe case of child abuse, and now a state agency is named in a civil lawsuit. The News 4 Tucson investigators have the latest.
Plus the damaging effects of overexposure to images of death, destruction, and despair. We hear from a local expert. News 4 Tucson at 10 starts right now.
Investigating for you. This is News 4 Tucson, live at 10.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We have an update tonight on a case of alleged child abuse that shocked this community. A 5-year-old girl severely burned. Detectives say her adoptive mother caused those injuries.
And now the case of that little girl has prompted a civil lawsuit that targets the state agency responsible for watching over Arizona's youngest victims. It's a News 4 Tucson investigation.
These were horrific. We're looking at third-degree burns over 80% of her body.
Pima County Sheriff Mark Napier has been in law enforcement for decades. He called this one of the worst child abuse cases he's seen.
Again, the injuries were so traumatic as to really be shocking to the conscience of even our detectives who've seen a lot of very terrible things in the past.
It was last December 29th when sheriff's deputies were called to this home on Tucson's northwest side. The girl's adoptive mother, Samantha Osteris, told 911 she didn't realize she was bathing the child in hot water.
She claimed that this was an accident.
But even early on, investigators weren't buying Osteris' version of what had happened to the little girl.
We strongly believe that this was not an accident, but more of an intentional act.
Digging deeper, we learned the little girl, who is now known simply as Jane Doe, was removed from her biological mother at the age of 2 due to a domestic violence situation. From there, the state placed her in the care of David Frodsham in Sierra Vista. He has since been sent to prison after being convicted of sex crimes against kids.
I mean, these children are the most defenseless in our society. I mean, who's there to protect this little child?
John Manley is one of the 3 attorneys who is now working on a civil lawsuit against the Arizona Department of Child Safety, DCS, and others, including Samantha Osteris and her husband, and David Frodsham and his wife.
You don't fail this miserably and this repeatedly because of just a few bad apples. You fail this miserably because there's a lack of leadership at the top and it's not child-focused.
Manley tells the News 4 Tucson investigators the goal of the lawsuit is to make sure the girl's future financial needs are taken care of and to shine a light on deeper issues within DCS.
I think what you have is a culture there that looks at the children it's supposed to serve as simply a meal ticket.
In an email to the News 4 Tucson investigators, a DCS spokesperson told us the department requires potential foster placements to undergo a thorough vetting process before acquiring a license. The process includes full background checks, a central registry check for prior DCS history, fingerprint clearance from the Arizona Department of Public Safety, home inspections, reference checks, and licensing classes through a provider agency. The News 4 Tucson investigators also went to the Osteris home. No one answered the door, but we did leave a card requesting contact. Samantha Osteris will go on trial in January.
Now, DCS officials add while a small number of people with bad intentions do manage to make it past the rigorous licensing process, the vast majority of Arizona foster parents are generous, dedicated people. To see the complete DCS statement plus documents we reviewed from the case, go to KVOA.com.